Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Elizabeth Irizarry. Elizabeth Irizarry has 10 plus years of experience as a designer in commercial, workplace design, project management, sales, and strategic partnerships. She is the founder and co-host of the Infinite Attraction Podcast, a Miami-based podcast empowering the local builder community. As the Chief Experience Officer at Mission Impact, she oversees the development and launch of educational programs, community platforms, and drives the customer experience strategy. Elizabeth strongly believes there are significant opportunities in emerging tech and is motivated to raise awareness of the positive impacts NFTs, blockchain, and the metaverse can have on our society. She is determined to broaden the participation of women and underrepresented minorities in the tech and Web3 community. Well, good afternoon, Elizabeth. Welcome to the show.
It's so good to be here. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Absolutely. This is exciting. Elizabeth, I know we both work in this emerging tech space, right? We're a digital publication. We interview a lot of people from around the world, including a lot of tech unicorns out of Silicon Valley, celebrities, et cetera. And it was just so nice to have you on the show today because we can talk a little bit about what you're doing, what your company's doing, and get your story out to our global audience. So without further ado, Elizabeth, I'm going to just jump right into these questions here and just talk to you a little bit about your career in technology. You were a senior executive. You're a podcaster as well, which is awesome. And now you're the Chief Experience Officer of Mission Impact. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Awesome. What a great question. I kind of have to start a little bit backwards, right? Like kind of where it all began. I actually did a 10-year career in the commercial real estate side. I was an interior designer by trade and kind of worked my way up and did workplace design. I did sales. I was a director of strategic partnerships and kind of hit a boiling point where I realized, is this really it? There's got to be more. And the side that I enjoyed about that was really the R&D. I was really interested in like research and understanding culture and how people integrate into their environments. We did a lot of digital transformation. We did a lot of things like, the future of work and things like that. And before the future of work became like the conversation that it is, that it is now the past 2 years. And so earlier this year, I just decided it was time to just bridge the gap a little bit and then move into the next thing. I had been networking in the tech space about a couple of years ago, pretty much doing research around during the pandemic on the industries that would basically stick around, that would withstand the test of time. And that was finance and technology. And I was very, very interested in both. So built some connections, did a lot of community work in Miami, and quickly just fell into the world of tech and Web3. And here I am today. I met my co-founders, a women-led community, and then we decided to kind of work together and work on Mission Impact. And that's what I'm doing today. The secret, I would say, is not thinking that, or believing at least, that your skills are always transferable. Everything, technology applies to everything. Web3 has an insane amount of use cases, and this is just like, an opportunity because it's emerging, right? So I just kind of followed my gut on that decision, and it was a great decision. And that's how I'm here today.
That's awesome. Love the story. Love the excitement. Like I said, I just had another podcast earlier today, and, you can hear the excitement when people get involved in something they're really passionate about, or they're solving a problem, or in this case, a new startup, be involved in that is so awesome. And the fact that we also feature a lot of women in tech is a big deal for us as well. And our platform is built on Web3 blockchain. So we're totally excited about that. So thank you for sharing. So Elizabeth, talk to us a bit more about Mission Impact and its mission to help women explore, grow, and transform into future leaders.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Mission Impact is ultimately a global leadership program. That is one of the, main things that we focus on. We're pre-seed, we're early stage startup. And we just had a program that was basically 50 women from across the world. We had 400 plus applications within a month, about 21 countries represented. I can't even remember how many exact languages, but many languages, more than 10 languages. And so with this program, what we did was we wanted to not stay in our kind of our bubble. So that we have major cities across the world that are really, let's say, at the forefront of tech and really embracing crypto and Web3. And so Miami is one of the cities, but what we wanted to build was something that was global. And it wasn't just a program that you learn about what are NFTs, what are DAOs, but that it had a global, like a leadership style training. So there was nothing of its kind. I had taken a couple of courses myself in Web3 and the metaverse, and I realized there was just like a gap missing, and what really is a leader these days. And I feel like that could be defined in so many ways. And so bringing the opportunity to these women in these locations where they may not otherwise have that opportunity. So I had women in Morocco, Nigeria, Helsinki, and places that, small little towns where the exposure isn't as great. And so that for us is an opportunity. When technology like this is emerging, there are so many factors that are so important when the use of this technology is happening. And instead of sitting back and complaining about, well, we're sitting on our phones too much, we're going to live in these virtual worlds, well, do something about it. Use the technology for good. So a lot of the courses or the training that we do in our program has a lot of impact-driven initiatives. And so we not only examine use cases, but we bring them into, opportunities and connect with other, what we call change makers and speakers in our network so that they can create opportunity and then they can get inspired, and whether they implement it in their own companies, whether they have a startup or they're working already at let's say an established Fortune 500 company, something of the sort. So our approach was very much bringing together not just experts, but beginners and intermediates in one room, and women with different backgrounds. So we had nurses, lawyers, all coming together, trying to understand what they can do with this technology and how they can be leaders in this space. So that's really what Mission Impact is at its core. It's an ecosystem of education, connections. Women get actually less than 2% of all funding. In Miami and Florida particularly, it's like 0.8. So trying to also support women so that we can support each other ultimately, right? To bring those numbers up and then bring exposure to, our male allies as well to what we're working on so that they can also support us.
Thank you for sharing, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. And you guys have an awesome mission going on there with Mission Impact. So I appreciate it. So switching gears, Elizabeth, like I said, we focus on emerging technologies, been in this space a long time, platforms built on blockchain. But we want to ask, are you leveraging any newer emerging tech in your business? And if not, maybe there's a cool tool or app you might be able to share with us today.
Yeah, so we have part of our roadmap is to build our own platform because of where we are in our stage and our angel investors. Like, we have been leveraging existing tools. So our community is going to be for now on Mighty Networks, which is not necessarily a Web3 tool, but accepts crypto payments. So you can connect to multiple crypto, like other fungible tokens that are already existing in the ecosystem. Our goal long term is that we are going to have our own token, our Mission Impact token, and it's going to be a model where it's contribute to earn, so that we don't have kind of what's happened in the industry now where you have these whales in an unfair advantage. So it would be the more you contribute either as a speaker, as a connector for job opportunities, you earn tokens, which give you the opportunity to purchase other things within the ecosystem to expand your knowledge base or expand your network. If you're either going to, an IRL event, something that is like an exclusive retreat or something of that sort, or take maybe the program itself, because you can live within the ecosystem and not necessarily have to take the leadership program. So there are many platforms that are already out there. GM.xyz is, let's say, a more emerging community-based platform, more of a connection one. It's an offset to Discord, which we're kind of, let's say, mostly against, only because of the people that we onboard. It's not a very user-friendly experience for our users, the kind of community that we're trying to onboard. So we're also exploring and building partnerships with those who are building, let's say, the new Twitters of the world, a more decentralized experience where it's safe and our users aren't exposed to scams.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that as well. Lots that we can talk about around this space offline as well. I've got some great things to share with you and your company. So Elizabeth, last question for you today. Can you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech or design?
Oh, absolutely. I actually love this part. I love to help people, just take the plunge. And I think ultimately believing that there's only one career path is, I think, a huge mistake. I think when you start to shed that belief that you only have to do one thing and then you work your way all your career just to do that, I think that there's so much opportunity to explore and to challenge ourselves with our skill sets that we have and learn new things. So I think it's so important to network outside of maybe the industry you're already working with, and listen to people and listen to what they're building and see what ways you can actually integrate into their industries as well. I think it's just a good way for us to constantly challenge ourselves and have a little bit more faith when it's time to maybe make a change, that we can work in other industries or we can take our knowledge into another field. So I would always say, connect. Don't be afraid to get out there and ask questions. When I first started networking in the tech community, I didn't know anybody. I didn't really know that many people. And I was like, the person in the room that maybe didn't understand all the language. But in my industry, I knew everyone and I understood the language. I worked in that industry for so long, but it doesn't mean you can't learn. So I would say, don't be afraid of being the person in the room that's asking more, too many questions. It's good to ask questions. It's good to challenge ourselves. And that keeps your brain, flowing, and it keeps you interested and it keeps you excited. And I think we build better and we build interesting products when we're in that kind of mindset.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate the share on that. And you're absolutely right. Making connections is so important because people is really what makes the world go round. So, Elizabeth, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Bye for now.